Hey guys, and welcome back to Churn Farms. It's day 18 in late spring, and we've been busy plowing, or not plowing, sorry. We've been busy cultivating the rest of our fields, and we are just about done. And we got a call from our worker, basically telling us that we were running pretty low on fuel on our 8530. So they wanted to know if we could bring them some fuel over. So I know our fuel trailer here is running a little low on fuel. So we're going to see if we can't use the rest of the fuel here on this pallet, and then fill up the 8530 as best we can, and we'll probably end up going and buying another pallet of diesel fuel. Not really sure why I'm having issues here. Let's move our truck out of the way. Oops. And come at this from a different angle, I guess. Let's see if we can't get this thing loaded up. There we go, that's a little better. We still got a fair amount of fuel in here, so we should be able to fill up our 8530 with this, and possibly still have some fuel left. Alright. We're just going to leave this hooked up in here. And we'll run over here, and like I said, our 8530 is down on field 34. It's the last field that we have yet to harvest, or not harvest, but cultivate. And once we get done cultivating that field, we're going to go ahead and take our cultivator up to the shop and sell it, because we won't need that anymore, at least not for a long time. As we move over here, we can kind of check our fields. Looks like our rye is coming up. Looks like our grass is still not yet germinated over there. And I have to say, we checked around some local farmers just to see if they had any jobs for us to do, and they all reported that they were in good shape, didn't need us to do anything. So I'm not sure if they don't want our help or what's going on. We're not going to. This isn't the right field, I know. But I did just want to come over here and just check and see how our. Okay, so this is canola, I think. Just wanted to see how that was coming along. Looks like it's coming along pretty good. So it's still too cool for us to plant our corn and our soybeans. So it's still only 43 degrees. So we're just gonna have to wait it out a bit, I guess, and see how we're doing as far as temperature goes. So this is the field that I was cultivating in. Looks like he's further around the bend. There he is. Let's go ahead and hop off the road here. And alright. I can see our fuel hookup is on the on this side of the truck here. Alright. Let's go ahead and get out. And let's turn on our fuel pump here. And go ahead and get on in the tractor. Alright. It would be really cool if they could somehow activate the refueling from outside. That would be just really cool with this trailer, to be able to not have to jump in. Is that a working fuel gauge? Oh my gosh, if that's a working fuel gauge, that is going to be outstanding. I think that is a working fuel gauge, people. Let's just stare at that for a little bit and see if the needle goes down. I think it's going down. I think it was more straight up and down when we got here. It's definitely dropping. I had no idea this thing had a working fuel gauge on it. That is so cool. Alright. Turn that out of the way. We'll get back in our truck here, and we're just going to pull this off to the side. And we're going to go ahead and finish up the cultivation of this field. Let's go ahead and run on over here. As you can see, things are starting to green up quite well. Our grass is starting to grow. Let's go ahead and use our GPS, lower her down, and let's hit the road here. Let's lock in our course. So if we look at the F1 menu, we see we got 11 engine hours, 11.8 engine hours before maintenance is required, or 81 days. Well, I have to say, before seasons, I would rarely have more than maybe 10, 12 hours on a tractor before I stopped playing a map. And that was mostly because I had a lot of tractors for the map, and I pretty much spread my usage around on lots of them. But with seasons, I've been playing a bit more tractor frugal, if you will. And basically, I've put more hours on tractors with seasons than I have ever put on a tractor without seasons. And with long seasons like this, you're definitely going to have to do engine maintenance several times before that day requirement comes up. You know, if you play short seasons, like a 6-day season, then in theory, since maintenance is only due every year, in theory you could maybe go an entire game year without putting in 30 hours on a tractor, because at 6 seasons that's only 24 game days per year, and depending on how many tractors you have, you could go a whole year without doing 30 hours. But on 24-day seasons, if you don't put more than 30 hours on a tractor over the course of 96 game days, you don't need that tractor. You need to be getting rid of it because you're not using it enough. You know, this tractor's got 18 hours on it. The other tractors we've got, I think the other John Deere's probably got a good 11, 12, 14 hours on it. The Massey Ferguson we just picked up, I think it's got a good 3-4 hours on it already. So, you know, if you've got a tractor and you can go almost the entire game year with a long number of game day seasons, you've probably got too many tractors and you're not using it enough. So you probably can get rid of it, unless it is like super special purpose. Like maybe you could not use a telehandler for 30 hours. I could see that. I could see where maybe a skid steer, you wouldn't have 30 hours on it, but a general multi-purpose tractor, I would say at the end of a 96 game day season or game year, you should probably have at least 40 to 50 hours on that tractor, with light usage. With heavy usage, I could see you having over 100 hours on that tractor by the end of 96 game days. So let's bring you up to date a little bit on what's been going on here. We're on game day 18, and it is still, the ground temp is still only 43 degrees. I'm pretty sure I already said that, but that's something I'm going to harp on, because that's kind of the bone in my side right now. I really want to get my other crops planted, but I can't do it. If you look at the air temp, currently it's 57. We've got 5 days of rain in the forecast for the last bit of spring and the early day of summer. First day of summer we got rain. We got temperatures in the 50s and 60s in late spring. That may bring up our ground temp. Will it bring it up enough to where we are consistently and confident that we will stay at 50 degrees or higher? Let's hope. But then again, we have until game day 8 of summer to plant our crops. So if we if we look here at the planting schedule, we have until game day 8 of summer to finish our soybean and our corn planting. So we've got still plenty of time to plant this stuff. Plenty of time for the ground temp to come up and stay up. But I would just like to get it done. But I'm not worried at this point that I won't be able to put those crops in the ground. I'm more curious as to when I'll be able to put those crops in the ground and what we'll be doing between then. This is the last field for us to cultivate. At this point, once we're done this field, there's not much field work for us to do. We can, if we fertilize this field, we'll be wasting fertilizer because the seeder that we have, or the planter, the row crop planter that we have to use, will fertilize as it seeds. So there's no reason to get this above, get these fields above a second state of fertilization, because the act of planting will bring them to the third day of fertilization already. So can't really fertilize. Can't really do much more than what we're doing right now. If we put soybeans in with our other planter, the one that we planted the rest of the stuff with, then yeah, we could fertilize that field because it does not fertilize when it seeds. But that's just one field. That's one little bit of field work. What I'm thinking that we're going to need to do is maybe a little bit of forestry work to pad our coffers a little bit. We'll need to buy up some grass mowing equipment, so we'll need to buy up some mowers. We'll need to buy a tedder, a windrower, a baler, a bale stacker. We got our bale trailer already, so we won't need that. We'll need a good set of bale forks to put the bales on the stacker, because I plan on using the 4-bale bale stacker to make little stacks in the field. We'll need a telehandler to buy. So we've got a fair bit of equipment to buy. So I'd like to pad our bank account a little bit more than we have it currently. But I think after we finish this field off, after we sell our cultivator, we're probably going to go on a little bit of a map tour, a map excursion, to really just familiarize ourselves with the map a little bit more, and let us, I guess, talk to the locals about what's going on, and seeing what type of stuff they sell or they buy, and just generally getting prepped for busy season. We're thinking about cows. We got to figure out when we want to buy our cows. And we got to figure out how many cows we want to buy. I'm not sure. Do we want to go with 50 head or 100 head? I'm not sure what we're going to start with. If we get it the right time, we're gonna save a lot of money in compared to the cost of cattle right now. So we're going to probably want to buy at a very specific point in time, early in summer. So it's going to be coming up soon. And if we get it right, we might be able to get 100 head for as low as $350,000. And if that's the case, that would be pretty good. Because our goal is to make this $1 million that we have left last until we start rolling in the money from harvest. Obviously, getting some cows in will help that out, because they will be making milk during that time frame. Let's pull this up. So this right in front of us is the local brewery, the local microbrew, and they accept grain as a product that they would buy from us. So that's one establishment that we want to check out and get familiar with. Might spend some time just checking out some of the finer details of this great valley as we kind of wait for our ground temp to come up. All right. We've almost got this field done. In fact, we're not gonna need GPS at this point. Straight lines are kind of pointless when you have such a little area here left to get to. So with this, I'm going to bid you a short farewell, only to bring you back here once we get back to the store, once we're done cultivating and driving back. So I'll check you in a little bit. Alright, so we sold our cultivator and we got just under $22,000 for that. So that will go handy to help pay for a little bit of that mowing equipment that we need to get. We're just going to leave our 8530 over here. We talked to the shop. They were cool with it. And we're going to also we're going to run our fuel trailer back down to the farm and unhook that, and then we're going to just kind of drive around and kind of get a little more familiar with the place. Check out some of the pig and the sheep area, and try to plan out where we might be wanting to store equipment down there, what kind of equipment we might be needing for those particular areas. And you know what? We should also be scouting that cow farm out, and really trying to figure out where we're going to store these hay bales that we're going to be producing, where we're going to store our straw bales. I'm not really sure where we're going to put those things. So we're going to need to check those out so that we kind of know where to put them once we start start bringing some harvest in. The grass is going to be the first thing to come. Our grass field up there on the hill is coming in quite nice. I expect we'll be able to mow that stuff here in the next game week or so. So we'll just have to see about that. So like I said, we're just going to drop this trailer on down in here, and then we're going to go explore a little bit. We need to go check out the there's an area up here on top of the hill to do some forestry work, to clear some trees, and we're going to go check that out a little bit. We'll need to get some. We need to get some forestry equipment if we're going to kind of spend some of our time doing some forestry work. So let's back our trailer on in here, nice and neat, and we'll go ahead and unhook that. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and explore some of this area that we haven't had a chance to check out quite yet. See, our potatoes are coming on quite nice here. We see we've already kind of checked out our rye here. Or I mean our barley, but it's coming along quite nicely. And I think it's back this way that we need to check. We head on up this road. I was hearing from a local dealer shop that there was this area up here, right above the one farm that had some sheds and had a fair bit of trees, kind of planted many years ago for the purpose of bringing them in for harvest. So it looks like this is the area up here. I got lots of nice trees here. So we've got a nice storage shed here for our forestry equipment, and we might even have a fuel pump up here if we run the need for some fuel. And I think this is the way that we need to go to get to our grass field. We've never really checked it out, so let's go ahead and check it out. I think we go this way, if I'm not mistaken. And head on up the hill here. And this looks to be our grass meadow. Let's take a look at this. We don't want to go down that way. This looks to be a rather challenging area to be mowing. I definitely don't want to be, we're definitely not investing in a round baler. That's for sure, because we don't want to be chasing bales all over the place. It's not a super big area for grass. I'm glad we did plant that extra field over there. Oh wow, look at that. Whoa, not that tree, but that great sunset. All those beautiful colors. At any rate, glad we did not count on just this field or this area for our grass for our cows. And we've got our eye on some sheep too, but we need to figure out what we're going to do with those as far as feeding them. Are we going to bring hay over from either this field or field 15, or are we going to maybe try to find some grass over there. We don't want to go too far down there. We might get ourselves stuck. But we're up here on quite a high little knoll, and I think we're going to have quite the challenge in pulling our baler around there. So we definitely want to go with square bales. We don't want to go with round bales. I think this road will lead us back down to the farm. Let's go ahead and take that. And it's actually getting late, guys. I think we're going to go ahead and head on into the house for some dinner. And we'll be back with you another time. So until next time, guys, happy farming.